online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment.
Very good team.
AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. You are watching and listening to AFTERBUZZ TV's Rising Star finale after show. I'm Jason Ikeler. Across the table, we have Heather.
Hello, everyone.
And joining us, very special guest tonight, Katrina Parker is here.
Hello.
Now, you know Katrina from The Voice and from obviously this really good singing. But she's also been recapping Rising Star for Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
I was going to say tonight, but I'm like, they don't have a recap. How do you feel about the show overall?
You know, I think it definitely is a good concept. I think that in terms of technology, they haven't had a lot of slip-ups, which is really great. I do think they need to work on chemistry between the experts and things like that. It feels like there's something missing. All the ideas are so good and so forward and advanced, and I just feel like there's a certain human aspect missing, and I think it might just be that the experts need more chemistry, or maybe they need to get a writer to write jokes for them or like something. But I think that's my biggest complaint with it. I think that they definitely, for first season, for something that was so new, I think that they've worked hard to make like a good concept happen.
And how do you think it compares? Because obviously you're from The Voice. How do you think it compares to The Voice? Because that's like the number one.
It's hard. The Voice is a well-oiled machine, and I almost feel like even with the craziness of the first two seasons where they were just trying all sorts of different things, I think even then it was kind of like this big machine already. So I wouldn't want to compare the two. I think that The Voice is very established. I mean, they're on season 7 now coming up. So I wouldn't want to compare them because it wouldn't be fair.
I guess that's true. We won't.
Yes,
so let's talk about our top 4. We've got Dana Williams, Jesse Kinch, Austen French, and Audrey Kate. I actually was really happy with the top 4. I think these were 4 of the best.
I agree.
Yep. Definitely the best 4 that we've had this entire season. And particularly, 2 of them were excellent.
Oh, I wonder who you're talking about. So they changed it up tonight. I don't really know how they got this, but it was like the people they paired against each other each had the same percentages of East Coast and West Coast over the competition, I guess.
Yeah, I think they took their
Who knows?
Yeah, I think they took their percentages throughout the entire season and kind of took them in order and then paired them up, kind of champion battle style, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, they seeded.
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 Yes.
I don't
even
know
know what that word means.
that means. It sounds dirty.
I was going to say that. Seeded.
But that's what they did.
It's like the March Madness basketball.
See, I think it's because I don't watch sports. I was so confused. I mean, I usually have to stop and rewind every time I watch it so that I can explain to readers what's happening because they usually don't know either. Like, they're like, why don't they do 2 songs instead of 1? It's like, well, because there's a wall.
I know, because you have to like pay a lot of attention.
You do.
You can't just watch it like us and zone out every now and then.
Exactly. So I'm glad we have you to explain it. Thank you. March Madness.
There we go. I don't know what March Madness is, but it sounds fun. So the first battle, we'll call it, of the night was Dana versus Jesse. So Dana sang At Last. Yeah. Thoughts? We're all kind of doing the same thing.
I love Dana.
She looked pretty.
She did. And I also loved, side note, Kesha in glasses. I thought that was super cute.
So hot.
I think song choice has been a problem for Dana the entire competition. And we talked about this a little bit while we were watching, but she doesn't have a big voice.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's the thing that bothers me. I feel like, I don't think it's a Dana thing. I think it's a production choice. I think it's a creative choice. They keep trying to make this big voice happen as if she's not enough. And I mean, if you read my recaps, you would know I'm obsessed with Dana. I've been rooting from her from the beginning. I feel like she's a little underdog that could. And I think she has one of the most authentic, lovely, unaffected voices on the show.
Yeah.
And it bothers me that they aren't utilizing the way they should. I mean, At Last she did a beautiful job of it. I mean, which to me is kind of incredible because it's like her voice just doesn't seem like it's the voice for that kind of song. But she did a great job. But it's just, she's delicate and her voice is really lovely, and I just feel like there's so many things they could have done that would have been better for her and more well suited, instead of trying to put her in this box that's not right. Like, put her in the right shoe. Don't put her in like a size 9 when she's like got beautiful little size 7
Preach.
delicate, you know? So anyways.
I know. I
sorry.
wish she would have gone like a little more of like a folky route or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
did something, because she doesn't have a voice where she can wail.
Yeah, and I think she did tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know, like, she's game for anything, it feels like, but don't like abuse that. Just because she can do it and do okay doesn't mean that she should do it. Like, there's other things she should be doing.
I agree. I think, tonight they really wanted to come out strong with her, and I think they thought this song would be strong because it's a hard song
Yeah.
to sing.
Yeah.
And you got to have that big voice. And unfortunately, like you said, she's too delicate for that, and there was a missed opportunity where she could have actually sang a song more suitable for her, and she could have killed it.
Yes.
Because I think it was almost too obvious of a choice, too. Like,
Yes.
oh, Do It Last. Everybody loves that. You
It's
know?
everyone's favorite karaoke wedding song. I mean, I do corporate events. That's my bread and butter. And that's always a song I try to fit in because people really are moved by it. It's just a very easy song for people to connect to as long as you don't butcher it. And she didn't butcher it. I mean, she was beautiful, but gosh, I mean, I think it was a really good time for a little gravitas and just
Yeah.
a little bit of like a moment where she could really be vulnerable and emotional, because it's like they haven't let her do that since the beginning. And I think that might have like been better for her.
Yeah, because I think if she was just up there with the guitar unplugged, that would have like stolen the whole show and she probably could have won. But not after that.
You know what song is coming to my head right now that I think she could have probably sang if they wanted to go the big voice route is Christina Aguilera's Beautiful. I think that could have been a song choice for her because it's not like super like Christina powerhouse voice, but it still could be there.
Do you think she's like too innocent to sing that though?
Yeah. I
You've
think
gotta
if
be
you
a
actually
little
like
slutty to
listen,
pull that
I think if you're listening to the lyrics,
Yeah.
yes. But just like the tone of it, kind of like
Would be good.
something like that would have been good.
So what was her percentage?
She got a 30%,
That's sad.
which was really disappointing.
But also, actually, my problem with her and Audrey this whole season is they don't take it up the octave at the end when you want them to like wail. Neither of them have ever done that. And I feel like if she would have done that, she would have got a lot of votes in at the end.
Yeah, the ending does make a big difference.
And it
But
wasn't there.
No.
I don't even want her to wail. I just want her to have a song that's really like suitable.
Appropriate.
You know, I really do. And I mean, Feist, I know, is like a little obscure in some ways, but even like 1, 2, 3, 4, something just really
Yeah.
joyful and fun. Like the song was just too. It was just a little dated for her, I think, and just a little mature, and it shouldn't have been. It's a classic.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when she did it this jazzy too, the arrangement was kind of odd. It was very jazzy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you? She's not adult contemporary.
It didn't seem like we were watching like a finale of a music show. It felt like a weird like PBS special or something.
Yes.
So she went up against Jesse Kinch, which like sucks for anybody going up against him. And he's saying Fortunate Son. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, he went back to his 60s, 70s vibe.
He did.
Rocked out.
I don't know the song.
Oh, you don't?
No.
No, I didn't either.
I'm from the South.
Okay.
I know the song.
So you probably have a way better. What did you think about the song
I just
choice?
think it's funny because like just a week or two ago, Brad was saying he wanted him to be less cliche.
Yeah.
And the song is just he killed it because he's Jesse and he
Yeah.
can do no wrong. But the song's just it's a little bit cliche. I mean, like it was probably a smart choice because it's very like patriotic
Yeah.
and. I think. I mean, I've never actually listened to the words, but
we can assume.
let's assume it's patriotic. I don't know. It's a song everybody, for the most part, knows. Like, you know.
Okay.
But
From
I just
the South.
from the South, you know, I knew what I mean. I was like, oh yeah, I know this one. But I thought it's funny that Brad just said don't be cliche,
Yeah.
and then this is like the next song that they do because he's done some really sexy,
Yeah. Oh, like
just
the
really
Billie Jean.
hot stuff, and it's like that's what I wanted to see. But you know, he sounded great.
I almost wish he would have gone first, just because at least there was a little more high energy.
Yeah.
Because to start the show, well, they started with the Brad Paisley song, which was Brad sounded good.
Yeah.
I don't know about everybody else, but I thought I don't know, it didn't like have like a big building moment either, and that's what you need in this show too.
Yeah.
I actually thought he did a really good job at taking command of the stage and kind of working it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if Brad had some kind of influence on that because he was on tour with Brad all week long and kind of got to see Brad do his
Yeah.
thing on the concert scene. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but it felt like
He was really comfortable.
he really was comfortable this week up there and just got into it, and he just looked good on there.
You go, Jesse.
Yeah,
So
Jesse.
he won. What was his percent?
He had 87%, which obviously
Wow.
killed it. I mean, it's insane.
The difference. I mean, just the difference between the highest to him.
Yeah.
The second highest to the highest. It's like, I mean, but I think we all knew coming in there.
Oh, yeah.
We all
Yeah.
knew, but you would kind of expect for the final four that it wouldn't be this dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's interesting,
huge.
actually, though, because I feel like with Jesse and Dana both, you don't get to know their personalities on the show. And normally for these shows, like, I feel like it's very personality based and all about the story. And I feel like Jesse, I mean, he's a nice guy, but, like, he's not, like, the boy next door, super family friendly kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like Austen.
Well, he's
Yeah.
so good, and he didn't need
Yeah,
a story.
which is
I mean,
cool.
like, honestly,
That's true, yeah.
I do feel like he was kind of like, in terms of just knowing who he was as a singer and an artist and a performer, he was really kind of head and shoulders above. There wasn't a need for a lot of experimenting
Yeah.
because he was just like, boom, right there.
And I think a lot of times, I think that's what happened with Dana too, is she probably knew who she was as an artist before the show.
Yeah.
And then they have this budget where you can have huge production and wear anything you want. And I think it just gets in people's heads.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. And it gets very confusing. I can speak from
Yeah.
experience. When you're in the midst of it and you have a set amount of songs you can choose from and a set amount of time, and it's like you literally, like, trying to find the right song is so difficult. And it's very easy if somebody has a very clear idea of what they want you to do to just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
So who knows? She might have been fighting for something that's more like who she is behind the scenes, and there just wasn't enough time to get clearance, or there was somebody fighting harder for her to do this song, you know?
That'd be
Poor girl.
interesting, yeah.
I hope she puts out an album.
I do too.
She has to.
Yeah.
has to.
You go, Dana.
I'm going to buy it, Dana.
Yes,
We'll support you.
we will.
So the next battle pairing was Austen French versus Audrey Kate. Austen sang I'm in Love with a Girl by Gavin Degraw.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, I think this is a really good song choice because I feel like that's the type of album he's going to make. But I feel like he took a Gavin Degraw song, and Gavin Degraw's not like super edgy, but made it even more vanilla than it already was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the sad thing is I feel like a few weeks ago we even suggested that he sing a Gavin
Yeah.
DeGraw song. So the fact that he actually did sing one and then it didn't really live up to our expectations.
Well, I think the problem is
Yeah,
he
you
should
guys
make
gonna
you.
apologize
Yeah.
for this?
Oh,
Just kidding.
actually, I want to call you out because Shamia, I told her to sing Skyscraper by Demi Lovato, and I know you hated that song choice on your blog. Remember when
Oh,
Shamia
you calling
sang?
me out?
Yeah,
I thought you were calling
Katrina.
Shamia out.
No,
What?
I told her to sing that song,
No.
and then you're
you
like, "What a horrible
didn't.
song choice!" I'm like, "Oh, that was all me."
she had
And I
never heard
didn't
the
say
song.
it was horrible. I just said I didn't think it was the best choice for her voice.
I thought it was a great song
I
choice
just-
for her.
It's,
I didn't like
it's
the
good.
arrangement,
I
but-
feel like it'd be boring if we agreed on everything.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
really
He would have
be.
told every singer to sing that song.
I was gonna say,
it
is it
wasn't
just because you love
Shamia.
Demi and you
Yes.
think the magic of Shamia and the magic of Demi, it's
Could
just all
combine
gonna be
to
magic?
make, yeah, I would have arranged it differently, but I'm like, damn it. And then she got voted off.
Oh my gosh, that's so
So
funny.
maybe she shouldn't listen to me.
She's
Yeah.
like cursing
Yeah,
you.
mhm.
That's what I thought.
Who was right?
It was all part of my master plan. Wouldn't that be funny?
That you're really the one.
Yeah.
You're the puppet master of the whole
Like,
show.
sing this, sing this. So, I don't know. I think Austen is a little too vanilla. I feel like the only success he'll have after the show is if he makes a contemporary Christian album, which is probably what he wants to do.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think his voice is so good,
Yeah.
and it's just consistently good week after week. And I think the problem is he's so good, but it's like trying to find that distinctive thing about him and that kind of point of view. I don't know that we saw his POV at all this season
Yeah.
beyond just being really happy and sweet, which is great. I mean, like, I think it's great that he's clearly a nice guy. He's very happy, and we don't need somebody to be tortured and miserable
Yeah.
when
No.
they're not.
Well, I mean, because he could be like a male Colby Calais.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like when I'm watching him, I'm watching an artist.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching a good
I feel
singer.
like I'm watching a really good singer. And I do think I think even if it was like a different Gavin DeGraw song, like, I Don't Want to Be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that at least
that'd be
has like
good.
a little more energy and like, I don't know, has a little more spirit. It's a little more like ballsy.
Yeah.
Because this song is just, honestly, I think I've heard it maybe just a couple times on the radio, but it's just a very like you said, it's already kind of like a vanilla song.
Yeah.
And then it just became more vanilla. It's almost like he needed to do something completely out of his comfort zone for it to really like catch fire tonight.
Because I always say when I'm watching the show, I feel like I'm watching a music pastor, and he is a music pastor.
is.
So that's actually his point
what
of
he
view.
is.
yeah,
True.
I guess it's working. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, they're so cute too. He and his wife.
Uh-huh.
I have to
They're so
say,
cute.
I find them absolutely adorable.
I just want them. I said he shouldn't have got married till after the show. And then he'd have a little more sex appeal. But, I mean, he made it to the top 2, so what do I know?
Clearly nothing if you are suggesting songs that get kicked off.
I know. Hey, Kesha liked it, and that's all I care about.
Okay.
So he went up against Audrey Kate, and she sang Love Me Like a Man. She has the same problem as Dana, where I love her, and I think she's super talented, but I think she's chosen poor songs most of the season.
Yeah, I didn't think it was strong enough for a finale song, and I just thought it was nothing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fun song. I think, I don't know, one of you said that it might have been better earlier in the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree with that. I think her big moment, and it's as much as you want to do something different on the show, you have to look at your successes. And her big success this season was New York State of Mind.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that moment where she sat down and she did something really torchy and she emoted the crap out of that song, and that's what we needed tonight. We didn't need a fun-loving bluesy song. I mean, like, that's not what you do. You have to have a sense of urgency. You have to make people feel like you're gonna die before you get dragged off the stage, and that song just didn't do it. So I think they should have tried to recreate, as boring as it is, I know, recreate that kind of New York State of Mind moment. I think that would have been like really beneficial to her tonight.
And even within this song, if she would have done more of like a push and pull in it, but I felt like it was like on the same level the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get into.
Had they flip-flopped tonight's song with New York State of Mind, I think this may have come out a little different.
Yeah.
You think she would have won?
Not one, but I think she probably could have taken Austen for that song.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting the two of them to be the top 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been rooting for Dana just to take everybody, but I thought Audrey and Jessie would probably, because I think they're the two most distinctive for me in terms of just, I don't know, like having like a very distinctive type of voice. So I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I know, because I was thinking if I was like at the record company, I would probably want those two to win too.
Yeah.
Because I guess Austen you could market to like.
Austen's very marketable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're all marketable,
They are.
actually.
Actually, yeah.
They're all. I did notice this, and I'm just saying this from my point of view. There was not like one plus-size woman on this season, which I found
you're
a
right.
little kind of like. And I know they're looking for a star, but it's like, I feel like there's more and more plus-size people in media right now. I mean, you have so many that are super successful: Mary Lambert, Adele. So it's just funny to me that it felt like they just gave us this very specific type of body type. I mean,
it
I
almost
was just,
felt like, did you watch that? There was a movie, American Dreams, back in the day. I think Mandy Moore was in it, but it like made fun of singing competition shows.
I think
and it was
I might have seen it.
And it was like that. Like, we need the white boy. We need the
Yes,
whatever.
we're going to fill all these slots, but surprisingly, we have all these slots filled, but we don't have a plus-size girl.
Yeah.
And I mean, they don't need to like make that happen, because then that's just pandering and patronizing to like plus-size women. But I don't know. It was just kind of weird that it was everybody beyond like one guy was like super slim and like super hot, and everybody could wear like a 2-piece. And I mean, it was just odd to me. I was like, so if you can't show your belly as a female, you don't make it far
on the show.
Like,
Yeah,
you don't
that's
even make it
interesting.
onto the stage and have a chance with the coaches.
Well, and I think because The Voice is so much about that, like there's such a variety of people
Yeah.
that maybe we're like used to seeing like positive things like that on TV. So when it doesn't happen, we're like, what?
Well, I mean, I want people to be like, what?
Yeah.
I kind of want to have that moment, because I do even feel like The Voice is getting a little more like traditional in terms of like the people they actually put on the blind audition stage are less and less different. I mean, I do feel like you're getting a lot of 16-year-olds, that are like a size 0 and below, and you aren't getting that variety of like the Beverly from like season 1.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, I mean, Frenchie season 1. I mean, like, I just feel like we have gotten a little more homogenous each season, which makes me sad. So it would have been great if there was just that, because there's no problem having a plus-size guy. There was like a couple of those, but for some reason a plus-size woman couldn't make it. There are tons of plus-size women that sing beautifully out there in this city alone. So
better than a couple of people on this show, but we won't name names.
Yeah, so that's just from my point of view. I was like, and it wasn't something that really bothered me. It was just kind of like, well, that's puzzling that they couldn't find, even if they just wanted to have a little bit of everything, they couldn't find one plus-size woman. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway.
I wonder how they picked for the show, like the people to audition.
Because we never saw that process.
No,
Because we know for The
didn't.
Voice they cast, mainly.
Yeah, they mainly do casting, and they do have like the open castings that are like, tons of people show up, but they have scheduled castings, and I mean, it's very transparent.
Yeah.
So I would be curious to see I bet you it is kind of a casting process.
Yeah, they
'Cause
just reach out to.
Yeah.
Because like Macy Kate, I feel like they were trying to make her Christina Grimmie.
They were trying to make that happen so hard.
So hard.
It was not
And
happening.
she's so good. Like she doesn't need them to like stack all the cards in her
Yeah.
favor. And so when they tried to like make it like, it was just weird. It was a professionally produced video on Vine,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That was so.
which is
Come
okay.
on.
It's
Yeah.
like whatever you have to do to get on the show. I mean, good for her. But then to keep pushing it and like trying to make this happen like it's not something like when someone's pushing you to do something and they're being that obvious about it, like producers have to at least try to be subtle.
Yeah.
Or people are going to feel like they're being manipulated, and if they catch on to it, then it's not
And
going
I
to
think
work.
that's what happened with her.
Yeah, and she didn't need it. I mean, she had a great voice. Like she was fine on her own. She didn't need them to try to kind of like make it like this is a surprise. She's totally at a disadvantage. She doesn't know she's performing tonight. Oh gosh.
We just slipped her $30,000 for her Vine production.
There's no way that actually
I don't
happened.
know how this check showed up at my door. I know, that was so weird. She was genuinely surprised, though. So Austen won that battle. So then the final two was Austen versus Jessie,
Yes.
which is, I think that's a good final two.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then they did coin toss, and Jessie had to go first. Or
Yes,
yeah.
Jessie went first.
So Jessie's saying love. Oh God, I can't read my writing. Love, rain, or me.
Yeah.
O''ER me. I thought when he first started out with the verse, I'm like, this is really weird in your register. And then as soon as he got to the chorus, he killed it.
So good.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many violins were there?
So
I
cool.
love that.
There were so many
Loved it.
violins. The whole stage. It was like a cello here, a violin there. You were just tripping all over them. It was
And like a
great.
fire everywhere. I'm like,
Fire.
this
He
is
got
like so
fire.
cool.
He got fire. And Austin got like a little bit of smoke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe
That was
because like
unfair.
One's just
one's like hell and one's like heaven. You know what I mean? You've got the bad boy versus the. There's like angel wings flapping. Well, Austin.
Interesting. Now we get it.
Satan wins. Oh, spoiler alert.
You know what was interesting though, as you just spoiled what happened, but
Yeah.
we didn't get to see the percentage as the voting is going on
Yeah.
during both of their performances. We had to wait till the very end.
This is true. And I mean, they gave us that twist right
Yeah.
before. And I think it affected the amount of
I
voting.
was just gonna say, I think it affected the voting as well.
Because I think like Austin fans would be like, oh, vote, vote, vote if they knew he was that much lower.
Yeah.
Even Jesse's
Yeah.
percentage, though, was lower than it should have been.
Because I
I'm
thought this
cur-
performance was better than his first, and he got
So
like
good.
what did he get his first
Like
performance?
an
Like
81
80
or
something, yeah.
I'm curious if this is his lowest score of the whole season. I don't think he's
Probably.
ever gotten in the 70s before.
No, I don't think he has.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it was so good. I mean, like, you know what I was saying about the first song that he did?
Yeah.
That it just felt like it didn't have that fire and it wasn't like as hot as the stuff he's done. This was absolutely there. It was like all the fire.
They
just
literally
The,
brought out the fire.
yes,
Yeah,
they
literal
literally
fire.
set the stage on fire. It was, and he was so good. I thought it was fantastic. And I mean, I don't know, there's something about him. I feel like he almost like gets possessed when he's on stage and he's having this like catharsis, and it's not always like pretty. It's
Yeah.
just, it's crazy, and he's like spitting, and he's like, he's just wild. And I think that to me is what's so appealing about him. It does not feel affected. It does not feel like calculated. It's just, I think he showed up and he was like,
Yeah.
I'm Jesse.
I feel like he's like very passionate about music.
Yes.
And that's all he cares about.
Exactly.
And when he talks in person, like when you're just having a conversation, he's very like soft spoken and very like kind of
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah.
like this. And then he gets out there and he's
Yeah.
like screaming, and you're like, whoa!
What happened to you?
Are you saving all this?
So he went up against Austen, who sang Bless the Broken Road by Rascal Flatts. Again, on paper, I would say this is a good song choice because it's very much on brand for him and it's a pretty song. But I don't think he does anything different to where you would want to buy his version and not Rascal Flatts.
Yeah, I think this song would have been good for him 2 weeks ago. Not for your like I'm trying to battle it out for my life
Yeah.
right now song. That's not
Agreed.
the song to do.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do the same thing, I think happened with Audrey. I wanted her to do this really beautiful, vulnerable,
Yeah.
like ballad. If you're gonna do something, if you're not gonna do like that crazy Jessie song where you're just like balls out, then you have to do a ballad that's very like, oh, keep me,
Help me.
help me, you love me, don't break my heart. And you have to like you either have to like be balls out or you have to break your heart on the stage.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, that song, it's almost like it's a ballad, but it moves kind of it's like almost like medium tempo.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have the space to really like sing the crap out of it.
It almost felt like he was rushing it a little bit too.
Yeah. I mean, it just didn't, something felt like about the meter just fell off to me. And it just felt like if you're going to do a ballad as your last song, as your like save me moment, it has to be either, again, ballsy or just like your heart's on the stage.
Yeah.
It can't be just sweet. Sweet's not enough to win it, honestly.
And that wasn't a winning performance. Like, it was good, and he's a good vocalist, but Jesse had a winning performance.
Yes.
Well, yes. And maybe one of the reasons why it wasn't such a winning performance is because he had to sit through Jesse's
and watch
performance.
that.
In theory, the second spot is better. In theory, you have more of an advantage because, I don't know, because you're the last one to go on. Because it's like, this is the last performance of the season, you know. But I don't think it worked for him because they showed him and you could see it psyching him out. I mean, maybe I'm reading his face wrong, but you could just see on his face, it was like, oh.
It did feel like he was really psyched out.
Yeah, going with that, I actually wrote down, it felt forced and it wasn't natural like he normally comes out and does.
Yeah, so, I mean, he had to be feeling it. He had to know. And, so that kind of broke my heart a little. I mean, it kind of takes some of the joy out of the winning.
Yeah.
When you see, like, the other, I don't know. To me, also, putting everybody up there to have feedback from the experts together.
Yeah.
That is just like, that's one of my biggest complaints about the show as well, is it's so uncomfortable. I feel like they think maybe we want to see people made to feel awkward and uncomfortable and be tortured a little bit. Like,
and it's not fun to watch.
I don't want to see that, you know? I want to see people work hard, and it doesn't have to be like child's play. I mean, it doesn't have to be easy. Make it hard. That's fine. But I think that there were some things they did where they were trying to be a little like cutthroat because it's just different from other singing competitions, and I just felt like it read as cringe-inducing to me. And having to have someone who just lost up there with the person that won and have them have to get feedback together, much like they've been doing all season, really bothers me. It's just not cool. I mean, like, these people already put themselves up to be completely humiliated.
Yeah.
And I know I've been through it. So adding the insult to injury of humiliating them a little yourselves, and I don't even know if they mean to do that, the show, but that's what happens. Like, why do that?
Yeah, that is super awkward because it's like, you did okay, but you did really good.
It's so, it's just, it really does feel mean-spirited. And it's like, I think the experts were great tonight about trying to just give everybody love. And it's like, I especially appreciate Ludacris at the end. Like, I think Josh expected he was going to, like, pick somebody.
Brutal.
And he wasn't. I was so proud of them when they refused to name a winner.
I think that was
so
cool.
Very good of
really
them.
classy.
Yeah, I was just say classy. Yep.
I actually really, I mean, we've interviewed them all season, so we're probably a little biased. But I actually really, I don't know if I like how they interact with each other, but I really liked the judges on their own. Because I felt like they were all actually invested. Like, Ludacris especially, like, goes home and thinks about it, and Kesha's Kesha, you know?
She
and
always
I really like
sweet,
Brad.
sweet.
Brad
Yeah.
is one of the nicest people, I think. I mean, just so nice, like genuinely nice.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's like, so I'm hearing this, and it's like, why? And I feel like you saw some of this in the segments one-on-one tonight, but for some reason, when they're on the stage together, it's just, part of it's the physical setup of how they're sitting, and they're not like together, but they're not apart. And part of it might just be that they need to get writers, I don't know, to like write them like some funny stuff, and then they just start doing it themselves eventually. But I feel like you don't see enough of that. You don't see their personalities enough on the camera, and that makes me sad because I always thought they were all three of them interesting people.
They're all
I
great.
feel like part of it maybe too is because the first seasons of the, like, first couple episodes of The Voice and Idol and X Factor aren't live. So they have so much like time to like joke around, and then they can like crop it down to the good parts. Whereas this has been live from the get-go, so there's not really time to like see personality into it.
I think if they decide to come back with a season 2 for next summer, I think they have this whole 8 months or whatever to go back to the drawing board, figure out what worked, what didn't.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they actually had someone like you to like go in and mentor to like say,
we nominate
this is-
Katrina.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
This is what
Fine.
you should do with the contestants, like knowing from experience, you know, just so they understand better, like what works and what doesn't for the contestants' point of view and from the viewers' point of view.
Yeah, I mean, and they have to be listening. I mean, I feel like they made some changes. I don't remember what they were, but throughout the season, there were subtle changes in format to where it felt like they were listening to everyone's complaints and the tweets and the recaps and all of that. But I agree. I think they do need to sit down and just see what works, because I think it has so much potential, but there's something missing. It's like you are doing this thing that's technologically advanced, and it should be really like exciting and invigorating, and it's just kind of like, oh, it's pretty good. You know, it's not terrible. But I do think there's room for improvement. And I think they need, and I'm going to start a camp for coaches and experts. I think there should be like
it's true.
a camp. It should not, it'll be like being in treatment, but it'll be like, you know, for fun. You know, where they have to sit and they have to talk and they have to get to know each other and they have to develop a rapport and they cannot leave the spa
until they've done
that. Like, I mean, it's since they don't have those episodes, it's like almost like they need to send them off on a vacation together and just give them like a boot camp for like 2 weeks where they just get to know each other and they build a rapport, and they need to get writers in there to come up with jokes for them and just, you know, do all of that.
Well, and I feel like, especially for Kesha even, I feel like producers probably got in her head because they didn't want her to say anything inappropriate. And we would a lot of times watch the live feed, and she would say hilarious things, and they would blur them or bleep them for TV.
Aww.
And I'm like, those are the things, like when you're watching like The Voice or Idol, when like Blake swears or something, it's funny. It's what makes the show.
It is funny, and it is really hard too to censor yourself. I mean, when I was on The Voice, it's like I very much went into my grandma's watching this mode.
Yeah.
And I was often very boring because I couldn't like be myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really hard, especially for someone that curses constantly, to kind of really censor yourself and be like family friendly.
And so still try to be fun.
Yeah. So I totally hear what you're saying, and I mean, I don't know. I love Kesha. I feel like I didn't need to see that she was interesting. I already knew she was interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just bummed that it felt like they kind of neutered everybody.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. They like cut off the fun parts.
Yeah. Like,
bummer.
Be like this.
Yeah.
One thing that we haven't talked about is the West Coast viewing tonight.
Oh, yeah. So West Coast had no say.
No, we're just like...
Zero say.
And I think people were very, very upset. And I think that's got to be the number one thing they change for next season.
Yes.
It's got to be dual live on both coasts, like 6 p.m. West Coast, 9 p.m. East Coast. They cannot do this again because people are very upset.
Well, and I guess like The Voice only caters to East Coast with their Twitter save, but it seems like they were like tweeting, we were watching, and they're tweeting like, log in now to vote, but you can't really, and your votes don't count. But they're still like live tweeting the whole thing.
But like, okay, so The Voice is, you know, on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whatever, during the week. So I understand like you can't really do dual coast unless it's going to be like super late or super early, and that just kind of messes with people's schedules. But it's on a Sunday for Rising Star. Come on, people are home at 6 p.m. They can do it.
It's true. And I mean, if they can't do that, then maybe they need to consider making it 2 nights.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you need to have that night where it airs on both coasts and then you get the voting the next day. And I know they want to be different. I get it. But it's like, you know, the West Coast just got breadcrumbs every week. Like they got that one person.
It's true. You can pick one person.
And then all of a sudden, not only do we not get anything, but they don't clearly state that we're not going to get anything. I mean, they never once said West Coast. They kind of gave the impression that you would have some effect. So unless you watch the East Coast feed, you don't know that you've logged in and you're like swiping for nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no wonder people were angry, because I think if they'd been transparent about it, it might have been okay.
Yeah.
It would have still been, people would have been upset, but at least they wouldn't have felt like, hey, wait a second.
What happened?
Why is there no vote from the West Coast up there?
That's interesting. Well, that wraps up the season. Jesse won. Woo!
Jesse! Congratulations.
Yay.
Katrina, are you working on new music?
I am. I'm working on a new EP. I mean, I haven't started recording yet.
Okay.
It's in its infancy. It's just like a tiny little baby.
Tiny little baby?
But I kind of been taking a bit of a hiatus, like since the new year, to really sit down and be quiet and create a little bit. I think since The Voice, I've just been going, and promoting, and I haven't like sat down and kind of figured out where do I want to go from here. So it's going to be kind of an Americana treatment to songs that are indie pop, indie folk. So it's very different.
That's cool though.
From the previous album, very different. But I'm really excited about it. I think it's kind of a return to my roots a little bit. I'm revisiting, you know, where I grew up, which is traditional country music and Southern Baptist hymns, and that kind of inspired this. And I'm excited.
Well, we can't wait to hear it.
I'm gonna have to keep you guys updated.
Yeah, and you can come in and play and do all of that once it's ready.
Thank you. And I do have a show September 12th.
Okay.
At Hotel Cafe. It's a Friday night at 9 p.m. And we're going to be doing some of the songs. And fingers crossed, I think we might have a banjo player. I hope.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Because I just to give like a little like test run of like, would these songs work with banjo? Like, do we want to go this way? Because I mean, that's what I'm hoping is going to work out. I really want that kind of treatment on the songs.
That's like perfect to test it on a live audience, though.
Yes.
So if they want to buy tickets.
It's on katrinaparker.com. We have a link to tickets on the tour page.
Perfect.
Do you see me like checking with my person to find out? This is so sad. I should know these things. I need like notes like where, what?
Where, what? And your original EP is up there as well.
Yeah, my album is I think the first thing you can probably click on when you go to the page or on the music page, In and Out of the Dark.
I have it.
We released it last year. It's like pop rock and also some like ballads as well. So I'm really proud of it. I do think at the time I wanted to do an album where I was like a really like strong voice, you know what I mean? I just wanted to be like the strong female voice, and I'm really proud of it. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of turn around and do stuff that's more delicate and vulnerable and like the softer side.
Now that everyone knows, though. Let us in.
Because believe it or not, I have a softer side.
We haven't seen it yet.
You have not seen it tonight. But I'm excited about that. And I will be writing I'll probably, if Rising Star comes back, I'll be writing about it for Entertainment Weekly's Community again, and I will be writing about The Voice when it comes out for Entertainment Weekly as well. So
exciting.
For the community, I should make that clear. It's a part of the website that's separate. And it's just all TV recaps from people that are fans of shows and they just really want to write about them.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me. This has been so much fun.
Thanks everybody for listening this season. Hopefully we'll be back next. We don't really know. But in the meantime, you can find all of us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Heather Joy Smith.
Joy.
Aww.
Katrina P Music on Instagram and Twitter.
And I'm at Jason Ikeler on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.